Hi, welcome to this is Chris and this is Buster. As always, Chris is a cool dude. He's in band. He's he's just a cool dude. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Chris. I'm in band, as he said. I like to think I'm good at the tuba, and much to their dismay, I like Greta Van Fleet. I know they're gonna puke at that.
It's terrible at tuba.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
really
I'm joking. I'm joking. He's nervous. He failed on his first intro. I think that was the first. No, wait, that was the second time we've had to restart an intro.
Is it just the second?
Who else was it?
I think because it wasn't recording
the first
once.
time, yeah, I just forgot to.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what happened this time too. We didn't press record.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Well, we got some good stuff to talk about today. We got some conspiracy theories. We've got some different stuff. But I think we should start off with conspiracy theories. So, Buster, do you have a knowledge on conspiracy theories? I don't. I have no knowledge.
I know a good bit about quite a few conspiracy theories, but I'm not sure I'm the most reliable source because I'm very radical-minded anyhow. So I tend to believe a lot of them.
Like, they're all true.
Yeah, I do believe we landed on the moon. That one's for sure. It seems more reasonable to me that we landed on the moon than we had like advanced film technology from 60 years in the future. Like, no.
Well, that's time travel.
Rocket technology is not that complex. It just takes a while to get all the fuel and all that. So I can believe very well that we actually did go.
Well, we got the film technology. This is just common sense at this point. We got the film technology from time travelers because time traveling is real too. If we're talking about conspiracy theories,
I think it's possible, but I think it's super unlikely.
It's theoretically possible, though, isn't it? Like, it's possible to
theoretically, like anything's possible.
I think moving back in time would be much harder than moving forward in time.
Well, here's the thing, right? The idea of moving back and forward in time is backwards thinking. Because time doesn't move forward and backwards. We just kind of feel it that way. We perceive time as forward and backwards, but it's really just stuff.
I like to think of time as like the first dimension on a graph. So you have like one plane, and then you have the second dimension, which adds verticality.
Well, imagine this is 1 through the third dimension, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the fourth dimension. It's just distance, pretty much. It's just moving.
Well, yeah, that's the same as the third dimension. It's like we can't, as a human brain, we live in the third dimension. We can't possibly comprehend the fourth. Like, there's no way that you can even begin to...
I can't comprehend how we could move back in time, because if we want to move forward in time, it wouldn't really be your definition of the normal definition of time traveling forward. It would just be moving at an incredible speed to where time moves much slower.
Actually, what would probably happen if we were to time travel is warp, but most people don't really know what that means.
Yeah.
But what warp really is instead of pulling yourself through space, you're pulling space and time around you. So you're literally shoving the universe around you to go faster.
Well, I do know that, like I said earlier, well, number one, all of our times, if I was watching Joe Rogan, which is probably also not the most reliable source for science, but if you and your mother had a watch that was exactly the same millisecond, on key, and you let that run for 10 years on your wrist, you and your mother would have a different time, very small difference in the times, but you'd still have a different time from each other. Because, well, the distance you've traveled, how fast you went, how high you went, and everything. So your times would be different. Now, if one of you was moving at the speed of light for 10 years, then your time would definitely be different. Because you experience time differently.
Right.
So.
But I think it's entirely possible to move backwards in time. Definitely not by the means we have right now. We can't just pull up a metal rod and some batteries and be like, all right, it's time to go.
Well, actually, it's plutonium. in the what is it? The
table of elements.
No. The gosh, Back to the Future. I should know this one. I'm Marty McFly.
Oh, I'm not gonna help you. I know what it is.
The flux capacitor.
Yeah.
And we get a DeLorean. I almost said Mandalorian.
Specifically a DeLorean.
I almost said Mandalorian, but a DeLorean. You put it in the back seat, and you put a dog in there.
You put the DeLorean in the back seat.
Yeah, you put the DeLorean in the back seat, and then the flux capacitor will. No. You put the flux capacitor in the DeLorean in the back seat. You put a young kid like me in there, and then you can go back in time and forward with plutonium.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you'd be more prone to just blow up the DeLorean.
Probably.
This isn't really a conspiracy. I was thinking, you're talking about time. It got me thinking about, like, for some reason, gravity. How, like, if you're heavier, you have technically, like, a very, very minuscule amount more of gravitational pull.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking about gravitational waves, and I forget exactly the details, but I remember a long time ago I heard about gravitational waves being, like, detected, because it was like a myth before.
Well, it was a theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was theoretical only, and then they actually detect. I think it was our 8th grade year, which was.
Yeah, I just remember reading something about it.
Yeah.
They detected something. They had this, like, big chamber that was, like, completely something about. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? They had a big room that detected
they
those
were like
things.
called like XY chambers or something.
Yeah.
They're like out in the fields in like Kansas.
In Area
or
51,
something.
yeah.
Right, and they picked up on it.
Speaking of which, has alien aircraft been recovered by the U.S. government and stored in Nevada?
I think.
I think
it's possible.
It's very cliche. That whole concept. Everyone's like, I don't know.
People have come out and said physicists have come out and said that they worked for the U.S. government and they worked on alien spacecraft in the 80s.
Yeah, they could just be trying to start something, though.
Yeah, or they could be telling the truth and there could be alien spacecraft.
I'm totally down to believe either one. I don't care either.
Yeah.
I'd like to. I think it'd be cool if there were alien spacecraft. But also that means that we probably had a hostile encounter with aliens, which is not good.
And how would you even hide that?
It's pretty easy. If I take somebody out in the desert in a car, let's say I take a huge semi-truck out in the desert, and I just have somebody in it, and I like put them out in the desert and I just kill them. It's pretty easy to hide.
Oh yeah.
What's the probability that an alien close to Earth, an alien life form close to Earth, would even be anything like us, function anything like us?
That's the thing. It depends on how similar the planet is.
We can't calculate the probability of
that,
man.
But it could just be a single cell. Could be infinitely smaller than us. It could be infinitely larger than us.
That's weird to think about too. The infinitely larger thing. Imagine some alien like coming from space and it's the size of a fucking there's am I allowed to?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't.
Don't worry, Browdy was on here. You could think that there's organisms on Earth that we haven't, found already.
Yeah, there definitely are.
Like the bottom of the ocean.
I think the concept that alien creatures are alien is kind of stupid, because we're kind of alien as well.
Yeah.
Like, we are not made up of just Earth stuff. Like, it's like the same argument as like illegal, like I guess the same word, but illegal aliens is like, yeah, they were also born.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just because we're born here doesn't mean we're like different. We're not like a different echelon of human being. You know, we're all the same stuff, and it's the same argument with aliens. Like, yeah, all of our matter is composed from stuff from somewhere else too. So it's like
the definition of alien is just a foreigner.
Yeah,
anything that's different than us. So
and that we give so much like credence to that. Like, we have such a strange connotation with the word alien. We're like, okay, so an alien is basically a gray thing that stands about 6'1" with black eyes and very thin, and it flies a UFO.
I was thinking like a green, hairy, 2'2", green lightsaber.
Yeah, you're thinking of Yoda.
Very wise.
But my idea of an alien is always like the picture you see, the big gray like football head. like
Yeah, right.
rotated S2E.
That's what I was trying to. Yeah. The gray alien. That's one of the most classic
Yeah.
alien designs.
I think the most likely alien life form out there would just be a single cell life form.
Yeah,
That
I-
I
Nothing
don't know.
special.
but that's
I-
that's
or
not
it could be the
interesting to-
opposite.
I think a single-celled organism is almost just as likely as, like,
a complex organism.
literally us.
Yeah.
And think about the different
Because
ways.
the thing is, we evolved the way we did
Yeah.
because it was beneficial. So what, like, some creature on another planet has a super high chance of looking like us to some extent, you know.
Well, it depends on. That's what I was saying. It's like depends on the planet. Because if you, hypothetically, if you're say Venus had aliens, Venus is a very similar planet to Earth, except for like the chemical compound in the air.
Yeah.
So, let's say you neutralize that chemical makeup of the air. I don't know if this is a very good tie-in, but form fits function. How like if we have to adapt to breathe this air, our lungs are going to act a certain way.
Yeah.
It's like if they have to adapt to breathe that thick smog on Venus and deal with that 400-degree temperature, their bodies are going to form around that, so it's going to look different than us. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but internally it's going to look a lot different. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it'll probably have the same advantages as we do because opposable thumbs are super useful.
Uh-huh.
No matter what
Yeah.
you are, that's going to be good. Being upright is better because you can see stuff from far away.
But what if they communicate, or what if they travel through cave systems and live in small cave systems 2 feet wide, and you
They
could
might be
think
blind.
they could be blind, like in
I mean, like bats.
like what's that book?
Right.
What's that book? Time. The time traveling
The
book.
Time
by-
Machine by
The
H.G.
Time Machine.
Wells.
Yes, like the blind creatures in the
Oh,
future. Yeah. Well, think about all the different ways that they could communicate. Or they could flash colors on their hands. they could light a fire in their fingers, and how hot it is. They're
What do you
communicating a
mean
certain
they
thing.
could light a fire in their fingers? You think
They-
they're born with flint and steel fingers?
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
No.
This whole evolution thing reminds me of Tier Zoo. I love watching Tier Zoo videos talking
Yeah,
about.
those are some good videos,
Yeah.
man.
I actually was speaking of YouTube. YouTube helps because last night I was in an ACT math thingy,
Yeah.
and I knew a factorial question. It was a really hard ACT test that she gave me last night, and it was a factorial question, and the only reason I knew it was number file of YouTube.
I think Tier Zoo would make so much money if they made an MMO. Just like you could pick like a time period and a server and
Be
stuff.
insane.
That would be so cool. I mean, it'd have to take so long to
But the
make.
coolest thing would be if they added like mod support to it.
Well, I mean, yeah, that would be cool. I'm thinking just the vastness of being able to pick like a limitless amount of different
Yeah, and
species.
it wouldn't even have to be like every species.
Uh-huh.
Like you don't have to include like literally, you can nail about every species that someone want to play as.
Yeah.
Pretty easily. And you wouldn't have to do it. You could probably design an algorithm to
Mm-hmm.
intelligently just integrate all that information instead of doing everything yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But
You know who's an alien?
who's that?
Mexicans.
I think we are. I think we already tagged on that one.
That and Nancy Pelosi. She's a commie.
Yeah, let's talk about that reptilian theory.
That's very interesting, I think.
Mark.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, I don't know how much I believe in it.
I definitely don't believe it at
Oh,
all.
I don't
That doesn't
believe
make
it at
any
all.
sense, but it's
But,
cool to think
yeah,
about.
like
a New World Order type thing.
I totally do believe that a lot of these officials are in cults and stuff. But
Oh,
I don't
all the
think
way.
they're-
There's definitely some
I don't think the reptiles
secret.
though.
Yeah, they're not
Right.
reptiles, but
But
I think there's definitely some secret,
They are involved. like,
powerful organization.
I think both Bushes were in the Skull and Bones Society from, what is it, Yale,
Probably.
and they're almost all in like Bohemian Grove.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where the Manhattan Project allegedly started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's yeah. I would believe that all these powerful people have much more connection with one another than we are led
Oh,
to
yeah.
believe. powerful people seek out each other. That's just how
Yeah.
it goes. And the fact that we don't see it always going on, like, enough, it seems like they do more. They're probably doing it behind our backs.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look up this cult right now at Alabama University. I've talked to you about it. The Machine.
Oh, yeah.
That's like a cult at Alabama University where they rig every election and they beat you up if you don't vote for who they're talking about. If you even mess with even
I
the
think
football.
That's just a political machine, I think.
Well, yeah, but it's like it's very secretive, and if you find out anything about it, they'll beat you up. Even the football
Yeah,
coach,
political
even the
machines.
football coach, who is a multimillionaire, big dude, would not talk about it. Something
That's
secretive
whack.
going on in that machine. In the machine. It
Man,
controls everything.
It's almost like they're controlling elections.
Yeah, but they do control elections, but they do much more, and they're not allowed to talk about it
Look at
because
you,
they'll
Russia.
get beat up. Yeah, Russia does
Looking
that.
at you, America.
Trump never won. It was,
I'm still calling for a recount today.
Yeah.
Yeah. No way
Uh,
it's right.
you know, Bush should have won too. Or
Oh,
Bush
yeah.
shouldn't have won.
Yeah, in
as well,
2000.
Florida, he didn't win.
If Al Gore won, Obama
Imagine how weird
and
that
Trump
would be.
not have been president.
Yeah, because it would have changed the metaphorical cycle. How there's always like a
And I'm
Republican
also
Democrat.
not sure
flip
9/11
flop.
would have happened.
What makes you think that? That's interesting.
Well, I'm not a big butterfly effect guy, but I kind of am.
That's
there
cool
were
to think
there were a
about.
lot of anti-American ideals stimulated by Bush being elected. Like in other places,
Mhm.
they didn't like how he looked, and they didn't like his dad.
Like how he looked, like they're just racist towards whites.
Well,
I don't know.
the stuff he said and the views he represented, and his election made the American body look one way,
Uh-huh.
and that may have stimulated anti-American feelings over in Saudi Arabia.
See, I think the 9/11 had been planned long before I think he was elected. I think it was being planned right after they failed after the bombing attempt. 93?
I think it was 93. Yeah.
When they tried to bomb
Right,
and
in
do
the-
the
in the-
exact same thing
in
that they
in the
did
parking garage beneath. Yeah.
Yeah.
and failed. So I think that's when I don't know, maybe not. I've heard stuff about it. But I thought they started planning right afterwards. Started thinking of different ways they could
They
try
they probably did, but I can't help but feel like Al Gore would have said something that would have changed how those events played out significantly.
Plus, they were that close to seeing, or figuring out about 9/11 because they knew something fishy was up.
Well,
They
if-
knew they were planning something.
if you think about it, right? Al Gore was an environmentalist, right? His big platform was you got to save the environment, global warming's real. Al Gore gets elected. New regulations go into play. Airplanes are harder to get on, they cost more, there's more taxes on them. It's not such an easy thing anymore. Cars aren't either. So all of a sudden, immigration and emigration become a little different, the process becomes different, and the same people that would have flown airplanes into the Twin Towers may have not had such access to planes.
Kind of like what Elizabeth Warren thinks. Hypocrite. Did you see that video of her on a private jet and she had to hide behind a bunch of staffers because people were taking videos of her?
Oh, yeah.
Because she's like, oh, I love the environment. She got a private jet. She flies around everywhere. She's like the freaking Britain, the dude from the royal family in Britain met Greta Thunberg, but like the day before, or the week before, he flew like 18,000 miles on his jet. Like an absurd number.
Makes me
And we're
think
just
that-
like, oh, hey.
That Chancellor Palpatine thing was like ironic.
I am the Senate.
I am the Senate.
Then you will die.
See, there's sort of like a new world order going on there, like the Sith secretly control everything. There's always like somebody that.
Well, there's only ever
secretly
two Sith. It's kind of hard to control everything when there's only two of
But he
you.
did.
Well, he also was the chancellor at the same time.
See, it was George H.W. Bush and George Bush, and now it's like George W. Bush and
Nancy Pelosi.
Mitt Romney. It's secretly Mitt Romney. That's why he tried to.
Oh yeah, Mitt Romney's like the Anakin of the
Yeah,
because
he tried. he voted against Trump to like hide his like evil ways because he wanted to seem like he was on the Democrat side. He's like, oh yeah, Trump's he did it. He did it all right, but he's actually like, a Sith Lord, like George R. Banks.
I think both parties are controlled by like the same people.
That'd be crazy.
I think all those.
Imagine like.
I think all the lobbyists are controlled by people. I think all the big corporations are controlled by.
Imagine like one person controls the entire nation.
A lot of people think it's about like 8 or 13 families that control the entire world.
Isn't there? There's one family I remember hearing about. I don't remember their name or anything. God, it's irritating me now. But they're like the richest family in history, and their kids are like.
Rockefeller?
No, what? No. Oh, I know they're not. I don't think they're from the U.S. I want to say they're from like UK, but they control like. He's looking it up right now.
The most powerful families that secretly control the world. Oh, that's an infographic show.
Yeah, we
back out. These are the 13 families that the world.
Yeah, 13. That's where you got the 13 from.
Infographic show. That's a good show. Okay. Let's see. Walmart family. It's not on here, but that would be funny. Okay. So it starts with the world monarch, the council of the 13 families, the committee of 300. Then it goes to think tanks. So there's some different stuff. Then it goes to the banks, tax revenue, interest revenue, and all the banks and stuff. Then it goes to the corporations, IBM, Exxon, Apple, Toyota, all those. Then it goes to like media companies, Disney, CNN, schools, central intelligence stuff, governments, military, police, courts, prisons, religion. And then it goes over population and workers. That's the big triangle.
Speaking of Disney, I saw this really funny like headcanon thing. Someone wrote like 3 pages of alternate timeline where like Disney like buys the entire United States and it becomes the Disney States of America.
And then they take over the entire world.
Yeah, the entire world. I remember it ends with like they colonize Mars.
And then they announce. What did they announce? They announced some movie or something at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. The Astor bloodline, the Bundy bloodline, the Collins bloodline, the DuPont bloodline, the Freeman bloodline, the Kennedy bloodline, the how do you say that?
Lee.
The Lee bloodline. Also, it's over in China, probably.
That's very.
I mean, the Onassis bloodline, the Rockefeller bloodline, the Russell bloodline, the Van Dune bloodline, the Merovingian
Rothschild. That's
the Rothschild bloodline.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of earlier.
So,
that's a big one.
And Greta Van Fleet, last one. The 14th.
Hey, good on him.
The reason I think there's a lot of truth behind that, and it's super possible, is that there's not much to disclose. Like, it's not like this giant secret of conspiracy. It's just a matter of...
Yeah, it's pretty on the open. You just got to put the pieces together. It's a big puzzle.
Yeah, like they literally are just controlling people, which we do anyway. Yeah. So it doesn't... one step goes to the other. It doesn't... It's not that outlandish to think that just those few people control everything.
And one of those bloodline... one of the people in the bloodline, Rockefeller... one of the Rockefellers was a politician in our state for a long time.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
He wasn't even from here. He just bought his way in.
Yeah, he like I think he's the one who put a mailbox over in Boone County.
Yeah.
And just flipping rant. This is the Onassis bloodline right here. Aristotle, Socrates, Onassis, named after 2 Greek philosophers, went from being totally broke at age 21 to being a billionaire at 23.
Is that Ty Lopez?
Ty Lopez.
Sitting here in my basement. With my new Lamborghini out in the garage.
His father's first name was Socrates, and Aristotle was an Illuminati king, a shipping tycoon, an intelligent, ruthless, hard-driving man, a man of the world who spoke a number of languages, including French, Spanish, English, Italian, and Turkish. He married JFK's widow. His first ever pair of...
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. His first ever present sunglasses made him look like Al Capone to a number of people.
That guy had a disease that I may have had.
What is it?
It turns out I didn't, because I never.
Ligma?
No. It's called
I think it's Sugma.
It's called myasthenia gravis. It's where there's a problem with your eyes, such that you see two of everything. You have double vision, and I think for him it ended in death.
Oh, jeez.
Luckily, I didn't have it. I just see two of everything for no reason.
Yeah, your eyes are just really bad.
But yeah.
Let's see. This guy, he's a business dude. Born in Turkey.
This dude's name is Aristotle Socrates Onassis.
Married Jacqueline Kennedy. Dude, he got some mad women.
You know when you're named after two famous philosophers that you're a badass.
Yeah, look at that dude. Look at that. He's pulling
He
the
looks
women.
like
He's
he looks
pulling
like a
the
really
women.
old Gus Fring from Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
really
he does.
He really does.
Look at that dude. He just pulls in the women. Look at all his women back there. There's like 18 women.
Pull all the bitches, bro.
Good job,
He's like
Aristotle
Blower.
Socrates Onassis.
Poor last famous Greek philosopher. What's his name? It's
Plato?
Like Plato. Yeah, he's the dumb one.
He's got a closet up at the mall. Did you know that?
Plato's closet.
He bought a whole building to use as a closet.
That's crazy.
Imagine that.
And he buys clothes from little girls.
It sounds kind of pedophiliac. Yeah, pedophilic. Okay.
You don't hear from Aristotle and Socrates that much.
Yeah, I wonder what happened.
You know who you don't
They
hear
didn't
from
buy
either?
a closet.
Bach.
Yeah, that's weird.
He's too busy decomposing.
You know who else I don't hear much from?
Who's that?
George H.W. Bush. He hadn't been at the Illuminati meetings recently.
Oh, the Illuminati meeting.
I've been going.
I don't think he was up enough to be in the Illuminati.
Yeah. Well, the Blower bloodline is the 14th bloodline in the
Right.
families.
Because your family definitely didn't have to restart 80 years ago. From the ground up. Literally, it had to start again.
How do you know about his bloodline?
Well, they all just packed up and moved to the United States.
Oh, I have no clue.
That was actually on the other side though, so the
Yeah.
Blower family's fine. That was the Poff,
Oh, okay.
which was like Poffenburger when they came over here.
Poffenburger.
Poffenburger. But now it's Poff. And then Blower bloodlines from Germany.
Of course.
Yeah. Which I don't know when they came.
Where does the name Blower come from? How does
Blacksmiths, glass blowers.
Oh, yeah. Is that one of the last names that's straight up just named after a profession?
Oh,
Yeah.
like Smith.
Mason.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn.
My other family line. There's another one. Prostitute.
No.
James E. Prostitute.
There is no way. There is no way.
Yep.
Jesus.
James.
Was it named after profession at least?
Well, James E. Prostitute married Rick, or not Rick. That was his son. His name was Rick no. He had Rick Prostitute and he had Elizabeth Prostitute. And Elizabeth Prostitute married Carl S. Blower in 1885.
Jeez, imagine going to middle school with the last name Prostitute.
I'm joking. I made all that up.
Yeah.
But James E. Prostitute lives on in my
In your head canon.
head canon. It's canon in my head. Unlike the Star Wars Legends. Rip.
Those
Disney.
were good.
They were good. If it was still canon, then General Grievous would have gotten his lungs, pushed in during the Battle of Coruscant at the end of the original Clone Wars series
Yeah.
by Mace Windu. But he just coughed for no reason.
He's weak. He's just weak now.
even though he can get his parts removed and put back on because he does that in the Clone Wars series. So, yeah.
Anyhow, what other conspiracy theories do we have to talk about? We got the secret societies down. You guys think the New World Order has a base in the Denver International Airport?
No.
That's interesting.
You don't think so?
They're like fake. They want you to think that.
Oh, it's a proxy.
It's the Denver airport.
It's a prostitute.
The largest airport in the United States is Atlanta. Perfect place. It's booming with people. Subway systems everywhere. Below that is where the New World Order lies.
Below the subway?
Below the subway.
What are they, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No, it is the biggest airport in the United States. It is the most booming airport in the United States. More booming than LAX and LaGuardia.
Maybe they don't want to be in the most
JFK.
booming place. They want to have the most reach with the least suspicion.
You see.
That
But the biggest airport, though, they can have the most amount of people coming in. And plus, Denver already looks sketchy enough, so they'll be like, oh, okay.
I feel like if you're talking about the least people coming in and like a secluded place, the Greenbrier. Like, yes, it has national acclaim, so you can get funds there easily without too much question.
There's totally a secret society at the Greenbrier. There has to be.
Dude, have you ever been in the vault? Or
Yeah.
The bunker? Dude, I played laser tag in there.
It's cool.
It was pretty awesome.
I heard something about like the president has like a bunker there at the Greenbrier.
He does.
He did. That's where I played. That's where I played laser tag. Like multiple times, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty cool down in there.
I've never been to the Greenbrier, so.
It's a nice place.
Yeah.
It's expensive, though.
Set that on fire. I just lit this
I went
lighter.
for a field trip,
Did
so
you?
I lit this lighter. I thought I set this on fire for a second. I smelled burning.
yeah, you should not burn the
Yeah.
tablecloth here.
Well, guys, good basement. Chris burned the table to bits.
All right, so this is still kind of a conspiracy. Not a theory. This is a conspiracy. But at our high school, Cabell Midland High School, we got nasty stuff just like every other high school does. And,
Yep.
it's an abhorrent place, which is a fascist dictatorship, just like every other high school probably is.
Yep.
But in recent times, we had this silly little thing go on where there's a petition to shut down the school for cleaning because there was flu, bed bugs, lice, hand, foot, and mouth disease, just all this, I think mono. And this petition was amassing quite a few faux signatures and tons of these like silly comments that were like forged in the name of like administrators and stuff, and they didn't like that. I'm not going to say any specific names, but the kid, I guess they found out who started it. He got in trouble for deceit and falsifying
I
information.
have it on my phone. I have a screenshot of the thing. I'll pull it up. It says the reason is like falsifying identity, deceit, disruptive/disrespectful content. And it says, came to the attention of the administration on February 4th, 2020, that a petition was created by quote-unquote fellow student on change.org. I guess that's like the fake name they used, which is the whole thing, the whole concept of it to me, like, it's one thing.
Oh,
It's one thing to make a petition. Like, it's one thing to want, like, the school cleaned or whatever if you don't feel safe. Like, I can understand people being concerned about that. But when it, like, the comments is what really puts it over the edge, I think.
Yeah.
And I feel like the comments are the only reason why this is even an issue.
An issue, yeah.
Yeah, like, the only, because this report says they recommended expulsion for this kid for creating the petition.
Right. And the thing is, this is clearly them trying to overstep their executive control. This is literally them trying to have social control. That's it.
Yeah.
Worse stuff has happened, and they've been punished less, but the effects of this are greater because they look worse.
Yeah.
And their biggest want is to at least make it look like there is perfect order at that school.
Mm-hmm.
To keep all their ducks in a line and all that stuff. So he actually was not written up for deceit. He was written up for getting caught with deceit. The folks there at Cabell Midland that run it, the folks at the board, and the folks that are all involved, are heavily involved in deceit and all sorts of politics of deception and lies. It just so happens that most of the time that deception is used to maintain order instead of go against it, which is not the case with this petition. So really, this was just more of a step by the administration to further control the environment of Cabell Midland. I think this kid has every right to say that and to create a petition for whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably overstepping their actual authority. Like this is probably I don't see how that could be legal.
What, expelling the kid?
Or
Or
getting him in trouble
get
at
in
all.
trouble in general, yeah.
You have free speech outside of the school.
Well, outside of the school, yeah. I don't know if anybody else has ever read the student handbook. What are we have like 2 rights that are listed. There's like a whole page dedicated to it, but
so
it's got 2
at
points.
Cabell Midland High School, I don't have my student handbook or agenda or whatever, but there is a page called Student Rights.
This is so fucking
And
dumb.
there is a title
This is so dumb.
in bold font that says due process, right? It says due process. And then it proceeds to talk about
that's
not due process. It does not actually give us any rights. We'd probably have to go to the board and yell at them to let us know what our rights are, which doesn't seem like a fair rap. But the idea is that it's not fair and that we don't have any odds against the administration. Their goal is to just control everything. That is literally what they want to do. And they'll do stuff like this in order to further that. This kid probably didn't do anything wrong by the rules, but they conveyed the rules or they interpreted the rules in such a way that they could get him in trouble for it because he represented a threat to the order that they have at the school.
I've been thinking of new perspectives on public schooling, especially
It's a
nowadays.
zoo.
It's
How
a
much-
It's
zoo.
literally a zoo.
How much does it
Place
cost
is a
for
zoo.
online school only? Does it cost money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking if people don't like public school, number one, I don't think this guy or any of the people who commented on it really don't like the sanitization. I don't like how it's cleaned. But when I don't like something
For Kobe.
I don't Kobe, when I don't like something, I go to the board meetings and I talk about it. I've been to multiple. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and just sit around and complain and not try to change anything. If I don't like it, I'll go change it. But I also don't create a petition just so I can miss school. So I'm trying to see from both perspectives here. If you don't like something, try to change it. Don't try to make a petition and make stupid comments on the internet.
Me personally, I'm totally down for this petition. I think it's great. My favorite form of expressing dislike is being as disorderly as possible in the face of order.
But I think
if somebody's trying to control you, you should give them as many middle fingers as you possibly can. And that's what this petition
Watch us
basically
get called
did.
in about this.
But-
Watch us get in trouble for posting
Here's
this.
the thing, right? If we get called in for this, which
I mean, yeah, it's hypothetical. It's a what if.
it's a what if, right?
what if of the day?
What if we get in trouble for this? No, if we get called in for this, I'll tell them exactly what I've said here, and I truly believe it. If I get in trouble, I don't mind. It's worth it. I don't think adolescents actually have rights. There's something
No.
to
The
that.
thing is they should. That's so like.
Right, but in the past, students were allowed to wear armbands representing malicious things, and if we're trying to represent American ideals like liberty in the face of tyranny, that's what it is. That is what they do.
No.
These public schools, their goal is to.
But
it's like a fascist
They're going to
daycare.
push you
But
through.
also,
Right.
you have to think, though, these people saying it online behind the screen, dude, if you're going to say it to their face. Like, I bet a lot of people wouldn't even say that,
Well, yeah,
if you think these things and want to say it to their face.
it's high schoolers. Like,
don't just say it behind a screen and say all this terrible stuff about people. If you don't actually believe in it and you don't.
I would never assault or verbally assault. Just like I wouldn't single out one person at the school. I don't think that doesn't seem like the right way to go.
And it's people's jobs.
It's the body. It's the body. It's the body of work that they're in.
Well, it's people's jobs, and if they make a wrong decision, and that's it happens. But
the thing is, like, we feel the effects of that.
Yeah.
It's not like I guess they just made a mistake. They're just trying to do their jobs.
But it's just like any other place. Like I've had bosses at work that I was like, man, this sucks. Like this guy is like something else.
But there was some sort of reward for that.
Well,
you had a monetary reward on the other side.
You could argue that it's not their fault; it's the government's fault for making us go. Like that truancy letter I got for not even missing, but like 4 or 5 days. It's kind of ridiculous that they would already send me one. I only missed 4 or 5 days in the last 6 months.
At least that's defined instead of this. Like, how is he supposed to know he was going to get in trouble for making this?
And then the thing is, their defense against that is that you can't plead ignorance.
Yeah,
you're not allowed to plead ignorance.
It's because there's no actual due process.
Yeah, our rights are not available to us in the student handbook, which is ridiculous because there are so many outrageous rules there. For example, say you are late by 1 minute. Okay, you're late to class by 1 minute, 3 times. You will suffer
ALC.
1 entire day of not being in class.
3 minutes tardy total.
Yeah, 3 total minutes tardy. Which, if they're trying to get you to go to class, that doesn't seem like the best way to force that to happen.
Another thing, that's the worst part about the tardy and absence system is that the tardy system is more punishing than the absence system.
Yeah. At several occasions, I've missed school because the consequences were less than that of the tardy system. And
I don't know, because I got a letter saying that they're going to pursue legal action unless I show, reasons within the next 3 days of why I missed.
What, you going to send a parent letter?
I guess. I don't know what else to send. I missed because I went to Virginia Tech. I missed because I was sick one day. I don't know why else I missed. I only remember 2 or 3 days.
What, are they going to send you to lockup where you'd be happier? That would suck.
That'd be pretty nice.
School.
I'd probably learn, just as much because I like a lot of my teachers.
My good friend Eddie. My best friend Eddie.
Van Halen.
Yeah.
Really?
No, Eddie Michael. He went. He was truant, and then they got him for it, and he wouldn't go to school still, so he ended up going to lockup, and he preferred that.
Really?
Because what you did, you keep to yourself, you interact with other people. Whenever you go to education time, you just go to a library and a computer, and you have to just do stuff in there. You don't even have to do the assignments. You just have to do something.
Yeah.
Dude, I would learn so much.
I
would just get on Khan Academy and just.
God,
Khan Academy is great. I love Khan Academy.
I'm not a fan of it.
You know why you're not? You were compelled to do it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
I don't know. I do code.org too. Like crazy.
Useful. It's very useful.
ACT tutor, just learn all the math concepts.
I feel like sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I feel like juvenile detention is just kind of like.
It's stupid.
It's like pansy jail.
Well,
the prison system in general is fucked.
It's horrible, but especially with juveniles, it's like, wow, you've already given up on them. If you put somebody in a jail, it's because you believe that you have to keep them away from everybody else. It's like, wow, this kid is 8 and you gave up on him.
Yeah.
This kid is 8 and he's sitting in juvenile detention.
A really good,
what would an 8-year-old be in juvenile detention for? Getting in too many fights.
Yeah, something like that. Have high functioning Asperger's and.
It's no, sit the damn kid down.
Yeah, and talk to him. But a really good dude about prison reform. And just prison reform in general. His name's Larry Lawton. I've talked to you about him before.
Yeah.
He, in the 80s, the 70s and 80s is when he was at his peak. He was known as it's hard to word. He's known as the biggest jewel thief in America, which means he has just successfully stolen something like $18 million worth of jewels, and that's just
Yeah.
He didn't get that much money, obviously. He explains that he has a YouTube channel. It's just Larry Lawton. It's spelled like Law, Law ton. And he has this series going, or he has this book, and he pretty much summarizes the entire book in a episodic series. And I think he's like 200,000 subscribers or
He's
something
got a ton.
something absurd, yeah. And he's been blowing up recently. And his biggest thing is prison reform. He did 12 total years in prison, I think. And I mean the system is just fucked.
It's horrible. It's inefficient. It doesn't help anything.
Yeah.
It's not a form of punishment. It's like, instead of giving them an adequate punishment, you just put them in limbo.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
Yeah. No, that's not really related to Cabell. Well, I guess it is related
It
to Cabell
is.
Midland
It
because
is.
that's what
Cabell
Cabell Midland
shares
is.
more in common with the policies of prison than it would what you'd expect a school to have.
Mhm.
There's no rights stated. If you're not in class at the right time, you'll face punishment. If you eat the wrong thing, you'll face punishment.
Students. Juvenile detention center.
Please don't.
Burn it.
What?
They destroy people. Okay. I had another thing I
Jesus
want
Christ,
to bring.
Lord.
Jesus.
Another question. Do you think standardized tests are a good way to measure how smart a student is and how much they have progressed?
No,
No,
not at all.
No.
Not at all.
I don't think he should be. Well, for one, I think school shouldn't be compulsory. I don't know how to do this. It seems like in a perfect world scenario where like people aren't compelled to go to school. It's a choice, and when you're there, if you want to learn, you shouldn't have to make sure you're learning through a test. You should just do it because you enjoy learning. Like,
and the thing is like people utilize and store knowledge differently. So it's like not everybody's gonna like recite all the knowledge they know, like stat.
It's like me.
Some people actually just act differently as a result of what they've learned.
It's like me with how I play tuba. I've only been playing it for like 3 years, and I'm better than people that have been doing it since middle school. Like, it's about the want to do it instead of being compelled to do it. Like, if you want to go into math class and learn about, you're in like computer science, or I know calc is totally different, but if you want to go in there and learn it, you're gonna learn it. Like, it's not like you shouldn't need to be compelled to go do it.
Right. Usually when you compel somebody to do something, it turns out all of a sudden that you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Whenever you compel people to, like, I don't know, like a good example. Like, I don't know. It's just such an obvious fact that you shouldn't compel people to
I don't
do
know.
things.
At this point, I don't know how to. I don't even have a proposition to fix it because it's so ingrained. If you quit doing schooling right now, it would cause almost like a butterfly effect, like we were talking earlier. You stop it, not a butterfly. I guess it'd be a chain reaction. So you stop it. All the kids that don't want to do it stop coming. They reproduce. Then they tell their kids that it's stupid and that school is useless. So their kids don't. And it keeps getting passed down through generations, and then you only have 25% of the population that attends
Here's the
school.
thing, right? We are the schools are responsible for literally teaching people that school is literally just a fascist daycare. Like, that is what people think education is. They're like, no, I don't want to learn. I'm done learning because learning is a fascist daycare. Like, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, it can be enjoyable.
You can go to school and enjoy it. You know, like, for example, we're all in the same AP government class. If every class was formatted like that, like, he doesn't ask that much of you. If you sit there and you just listen,
just listen to him talk,
and interact,
it's really just like it's more of a. I think of it more as a conversation instead of a.
you learn, and it's fine. You're not compelled to do anything. He's not like compelling you to turn in your homework all the time and stuff. It's like just try.
Just do it.
And he doesn't have like all these stupid rules. He's not like, don't chew gum in my class, don't eat in my class, don't drink in my class, don't talk in my class, don't work on other work in my class. It's like, if you have to get something done, like, he doesn't care.
I feel like it's ironic that when history teachers do that too, because like, I can think of at least one very substantial event in the 20th century that is literally like a not a mirror image, a carbon copy of what those types of teachers do.
Yeah.
Like,
it didn't turn out well, did it?
Yeah, it didn't turn out so great.
1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I don't have 13 million fingers. But that's about how many people died as a result of that sort of behavior. Compelling people to do things is horrible. Lying about rules that don't exist is worse. Yeah. And that everything that they do is similar to the behavior of, Nazi Europe. They literally are operating a fascist daycare. That's what it is. It is not a school. It is not an institute dedicated to learning. If they cared about learning, they wouldn't, they'd ask students, how you doing? Are you all right? Are you learning? They don't. Okay? They don't care about that. The people that helm this ship don't care about it. Some of the teachers really do. Mm-hmm. But the people that are responsible for Cabell Midland High School do not give a damn about learning.
Do you know education. I think the most controversial of subjects and all across the board in high school is math. People constantly complain that they are not learning.
Oh, I'm never going to use this in real life anyways, man.
That is
Why do I need to know how to solve a two-step equation?
The dumbest argument I've ever heard.
I can definitely tell you one case where you're going to need math. If you're trying to calculate the distance from your church to your friend's house in Minecraft, you can use the Pythagorean theorem to do such. And
X squared plus, or not x squared. Your x coordinate and your z coordinate squared.
Man, do you need to go to sleep? You need a nap?
Yep. No, I'm just joking. I'll tell you where you're going to use math. If you want to build something, you have to use math. You might have to use some trig and geometry. If you want to go to college, you're going to have to use algebra, trig, geometry to learn calculus. If you want to go to community college, you have to know it. If you want to go to Votech, be an electrician, you have to know math.
Hang on. I gotta talk about this problem. The thing is, a lot of the people that say they don't like math and they're not learning anything are the people that don't want to do anything. And you know why they don't want to do anything?
Because they're lazy.
No, well, I guess technically, but the reason they're lazy is because they've been taught by the system that doing means being unhappy and it's compelled.
Yeah.
So they don't want to do anything.
Life is pain.
Yeah, right. Like if the kids are expected to do homework. That's like what they are expected to do. And doing that gives you no gratification, gives you no substantial, like, positive feedback in your body. Like, it's literally that is a prime way of teaching you that doing things is bad. These schools are breeding nihilistic, lazy kids who don't care because they've learned that there is no merit to doing anything or learning anything. Because whenever you punish people for not participating in that sort of thing, they're not going to enjoy it. They're going to think it sucks and it's not worth it and it's just a horrible thing. Literally, almost everybody that wants to go to college is either doing it out of compulsion because they're hopeless, or there's the few that are going because they're hopeful that they still might learn something, that maybe the next step in education won't be quite as bad. Nobody's going because they actually were like, wow, I really like what I've experienced here at Cabell Midland High School. I think I'm going to keep going. Not one person.
I do know one or two. I won't say any names.
Did you hear me swallow?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you this question. Why are you going to college?
I'm going to college because I hope to learn something. It's been a good minute since I have.
It's been a good minute? Since the last time you watched the infographic show?
Yeah.
Why are you going to college?
Because I can't. For what I want to do, I would rather have an internship, but around here, can't get an internship, so I'm kind of up the creek without a paddle. So, and college will be my paddle.
Do you know? I'm gonna go to college for a couple different reasons. I want to learn a set of skills. There's some skills that I want to learn. I'm not going for this stupid degree. I don't care.
He wants to learn some skills.
That's a very particular set of skills. Skills will make me a nightmare for people like you.
I want to learn some skills. So that's why. Skills.
I missed him.
I want to learn some skills. Okay. And once I get those skills, I acquire these skills.
How many times have you?
Once I get these skills, I'm gonna do some certain things with these skills. I'm gonna start businesses with these skills.
Blower, are you sure you want to go to college? Are you sure that's the best option?
You know why I'm gonna pick my college? They have welding classes.
Oh, boy,
You're
I
allowed to
love
work.
welding.
You're allowed to go work on cars. You're allowed to go to these coding thingies. You're allowed to have learning these.
Every time you say skills, skills, we're gonna think of that quote.
There's every time skills is said on this video,
Take a
we're gonna
shot.
put a big
No, we're
picture
not.
of Robert De
Nope.
Niro, and Buster's gonna edit it in there for everybody.
Yep. Dead air. Dead air. No dead air.
Ah, yeah, you're right.
So
You gotta keep talking.
So these skills, all right. These skills right here, skills. I'm gonna use these skills to start a business or start something new. I'm gonna make apps. I want to build.
Skills,
I want to do
today's
some cool
sponsor, Skillshare.
Well, here's the thing, right? I really like the idea of school. Okay, school seems like a really cool thing, and I think I'd really like to experience it. A place that you get to go and gain knowledge and explore the fields of academics.
Mm.
It sounds great. I'd really like to experience it for the first time. Or again, I'd say in elementary school that was a school.
I feel like true
I
academics.
had some
I'm sorry.
opportunities.
Why
and
wouldn't you be a professor?
I might be.
You would be the
I'll have to
perfect
see.
professor because you actually want to teach. You want people to learn, and you want people to, have that want to learn. So I feel like
Whenever we put people in middle schools and high schools that are dictatorships, we rip away their curiosity and we make them miserable. We're like, okay, this is your job. This isn't like this. This isn't supposed to be fun. I hate you. You need to work. This is a job. We are building your discipline to be a job. That is not what education should be. That is a horrible example of what it like. If learning is like, oh God, you have to do this. Otherwise, there's punishments, and your whole life is going to depend on it. Like, this homework means the difference between $30,000 a year and $180,000 a year. That's what they try to convey to you.
It really do be making the difference, though.
You need the skills.
You got to have those particular sets of skills.
I have a set of skills.
That's like every math teacher's answer to like, when am I going to use this? They're like, you
Skill.
got to have these particular skills.
Exception, Riazi. Riazi is a great math
Great.
teacher.
Awesome.
He is-
I'm sure he is.
Have you never had him really?
No, it's a very unfortunate.
He
I
is
wish I
so,
did.
like I took trig because my teacher I had last year told me that I needed to go to college, which is just false. I don't know where they got that
If
from.
you don't go to college, you're going to be poor and homeless.
But
Fun fact.
a fact.
If you go to college, you're going to be poor. and
like I
homeless.
wish I would have taken computer
It's
science
inevitable.
this year. I really wish I would have taken computer science because it just seems fun to me. I enjoy computers in general. I mean, I know it's not really it's not physical. It's not hardware about computers. It's more like software. But
Oh, you're going to be a programmer?
no, but
Then you're worthless.
my
You're
bad,
not
my
worth
bad,
my
sorry.
time.
If your academic field is not dedicated to practical work, then what are you even doing? You may as well just get on welfare and just teach your kids that they need to get on welfare.
Aren't
too.
you going to college for psychology though?
There's no practical use to psychology. I'm going to have to go on welfare and drop out of college.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you don't go to college for coal mining,
college
you're
for
just
coal
a
mining,
piece of dirt.
Yeah, it's like we literally teach people that the only reason you should go to college is for a job. It's like, what are you going to do without a degree? It's like, No, that you're supposed to learn. Did you forget about that part?
Oh,
Like,
that
you're-
doesn't matter. That doesn't matter
Forget
though.
about that part.
All that matters is money, and making money.
I mean, money
and
does
that's
rule.
about it.
It's just so cynical. We raise these people we raise people through a fascist dictatorship, send them to a place for them to get a certification so they can make better money than the next guy. It's like, what? What the hell?
Cash is king.
It's like, well, did you forget about the school part? Did we just like skip over that? It's like, nah, we don't need to learn. You need a certification. You need a degree.
Talking about money reminded me of what you said today about John Money and vintage
Yeah,
humans.
that's right. Everybody, this is a public service announcement. Jesus, public service announcement. It's actually. I was having a conversation today about whether social issues stem from the economy or economic issues stem from society, and we concluded. Hang on. I'll tell you what I concluded. I personally believe that economic issues stem entirely from social issues because
90% of the time for me, that's what I can.
because economics is
Does
a
it, like, depend on the day?
interpersonal interaction. So it just makes everything that is regarding the economy is regarding social issues, and it's not vice versa. So somebody else argued the opposite, and they said, no, social issues definitely come from the economy. And then I was like, he's right. I recall whenever the great architect of biological organisms, John Money, invented the human being so many years ago. He was the economy before we had people to control it. He spread his seed across the whole world.
Spread his seed, is he Johnny Appleseed?
Yeah, he's Johnny Appleseed, but with money. Anyhow,
That was a
the
little
point I'm trying to make here is that Cabell Midland, and I believe most schools, I can't speak for most schools, but from what I've known, most schools are not schools. They are fascist dictatorships. Do not lose your hope in education. You have to have the resolve to keep going, and you have to learn. You gotta keep going.
Last
It's worth
question
it.
before the top 10.
Before the what if.
Or the what if.
Did you ever do yours? Good talk.
You're going to college for psychology. Are you going for anything else? Are you going to double major?
Hopefully, depending on the school that I go to, the different programs are that. But I'd like to go for both psychology and philosophy,
Okay.
just for fun. Like if I'm already there learning, I'd like to learn philosophy too.
Would you consider other fields such as history or
Yep, music, film, fine art, history.
gender studies?
Isn't your idea to like study psychology so you know what makes the human brain like scared and make a horror movie around that?
That'd be awesome. But I think philosophy and psychology is just the most fundamental. Everybody should have way more education in that than we do. But I'd really like to go into that and try to give a unique perspective on things.
If you
try to
had
change things.
if you had to study a field in science or technology, which one would you pick
The psychology.
other than social science?
In STEM, I think
In
is what he's trying to
STEM.
say.
Well, before I wanted to be a psychologist, I wanted to be a mathematician, so I guess mathematics.
You like that album?
Yeah, that's a good one. Dude, I bet that guy
Yo!
loved math and calculus.
Dude, he must have.
Dude, I think you like calculus, but you just don't like how it's being taught.
I enjoy calculus. Like when there's no strings attached and I can just sit down and work on calculus, it's like,
Yeah, it's
okay,
not
this is
bad.
fun. It's like, oh man, this is tough. I like this. But whenever it's like, man, your grade depends on this. You're gonna burn and die and get into a horrible school.
You know
It's
you
like,
can get a B, right?
Huh?
You can get a B, right?
I can.
You never have, though, have you?
No.
What do you mean, like a B grade in calc?
Yeah. I haven't gotten a B since I was a sophomore. Chemistry.
Oh god.
I had a 94 the first 9
And that,
weeks,
kids,
so-
is why I don't want to be a mathematician anymore. So, how about we jump into the what if? Sound good?
I guess so.
Okay, I'll go first.
Did you even write yours down?
No, I don't need to.
Oh yeah.
I remembered it.
Talk.
Okay, this is a very, very,
Pull mine out.
famous one. What if you could have, a full meal, so one drink, a food, and a side, and a dessert, but you could only eat one of each thing for the rest of your life. So if I wanted to eat pizza, French fries with ice cream and sweet tea for the rest
Dude,
of my
didn't
life.
we already do this what if?
No, we didn't. Did we? I swear if we did,
I
dude.
think we already
Okay, think about this. Okay, what if you were in a coma?
What if you're in a coma?
Okay.
Spit it out.
Drop it.
I believe in
These
you.
skill.
You can get it out. I believe in
What if you had a particular set of skills?
you.
Okay, how about this? I'm going to start the what if. You're going to come up with another what if.
Okay. I did not know we did that already.
Okay. So, what if right now 50% of all other people were replaced by doppelganger demons trying to consume you, and they do that by convincing you that they're real? So you know that 50% of the other people you know are demons, and if they ever completely convince you, then and you let your guard down, they'll get you.
Become the Unabomber for not the whole bombing part, but live in the woods.
Oh, the hermit part.
Yeah. Well, the bombing part too, I guess. But like, I'm gonna start like mailing anthrax.
Because there's a 50% chance it's a demon.
Yeah.
I honestly would just develop a giant set of. I'm not okay. This time I'm not joking.
He's gonna get some particular
Get
skills.
some
What
particular
I
skill.
would do is do like, just become like the dude from Doom. I forget what doesn't
Doom
he,
guy?
Doom guy. I didn't know that.
Once I get these particular sets of skills, there's nothing that will come in between me.
Nothing.
Nothing that will stop me. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that'd be
okay.
crazy though. Like right now, like what if like there was a chance that both of us were like just out to get you?
Okay.
Damn, I smell something burning from that. I don't know what it was. I know it's not my clothes. I don't know why I'm looking at it.
Probably that candle.
No, that
Candle smells good.
candle smells like candle.
Okay.
Candle. Smell like candle.
Spot eye.
Smell like candle.
Ooh.
Okay, Chris, how about your what if?
Mine is, what if you could travel to a time, like a different time period in history, with like a handful of things from modern technology? So like, what would you bring to that time period? And what would you do with it?
Boombox, Heelys, machine gun.
And what time period though?
No, I wouldn't actually bring that stuff. Honestly, I'd probably bring like my cell phone.
And just be like flex with them.
Well, no, I'd like install like some apps on it.
Well,
Be like, hey, look out for this stuff.
thing is though, is if you have a cell phone and you go back in time, there's no cell service.
Right, I'll download some apps.
But what if that app requires like a connection to like a server?
What if it doesn't?
I mean, I guess, but like, what cool apps are there that don't require connection?
The dictionary?
I feel like the dictionary would. No, I guess it wouldn't.
Angry Birds.
Angry Birds actually does have an online server though, but it's not mandatory. I don't guess.
That's where I get my skills. I have a pretty good one. Okay. What if you were living two separate lives, one while you're
Hey,
dreaming?
I don't think we finished Chris's what if.
Oh, keep going.
I mean, that was.
I'm sorry.
That was my
Jeez
shit.
Louise.
I feel like I would want to travel to the bubonic plague that happened in the 1300s.
1314.
1314. I would want to go back there. This kind of, the more I think about it, the more like demented it sounds. I would almost want to go back there and with the vaccine and like make money off the vaccine. And once you cure the bubonic plague, you're like rich as hell.
God.
Yeah, you're like rich as hell, and you can just do whatever you want. And then talking about the butterfly effect. Did we talk about that on camera or off camera? I think it was on.
I think it was
wasn't
on.
it? Yeah, the butterfly effect again. It would cause a massive butterfly effect where my family is the most powerful and they become the Rothschilds.
Oh, yeah. But in addition to that, like you could tell people to look out for like certain people. You'd be like, hey, there might be a guy born named Adolf Hitler. If he is,
Kill him.
kill him. Kill any children named Adolf Hitler.
That and Greta Van Fleet.
See, I would
Hey,
disagree
you
with
watch
that, though.
your ass.
Like, you shouldn't kill babies.
Larry, don't curse on this podcast. I got a particular set of skills that will send you back to 1933. Beep, 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 beep. Keep going.
Okay.
That was like me censoring myself.
I don't think we should kill baby Hitler. That's a bad idea.
Yeah, even though he almost
Didn't
died.
Ben Shapiro talk about this? He's like, what if you could go back in time and hypothetically kill baby Hitler. Didn't he say that once?
Probably.
Okay, but he almost died when he was 3 of drowning.
Ben Shapiro
sucks. That's
also.
sad.
But a pastor saved him.
Side note: Ben Shapiro also said that rap isn't music.
Yeah.
There's no rhythm. or
Can't be
something.
right 100% of the time.
But
can
he
you?
he said that music. That his dad went to music school, so he knows music. That
He played Schindler's List when he was 12 on TV.
that music requires 3 things: rhythm, harmony, and melody. And that not jazz, rap only fulfills one of those, which obviously he's talking about rhythm. But a simple Google search will, if you like Google harmony is just 2 notes played together. And if you Google melody is just a succession of notes, which instantly just disproves what he was saying. Because rap has a succession of notes and multiple notes played at the same time. Like, so that was just a little
Whew.
diatribe. Is that a right word? I don't know.
What if you brought a laser pointer back to like year 100,000
Imagine
BC?
Oh my
like what do what like
God.
5th graders do? They bring a laser pointer to school and like point it over there, and when people look, they're like,
Dude, what if you brought like a gun back to like 1050 BC? People are
That's a
like,
bad idea.
God?
Bad idea.
Just an AR-15.
You bring like a Panzer tank.
Dude, we bring like an army of rednecks, and they're like, oh my God. I'd be like an army of just like Boone County rednecks, and be like,
You bring a tank back to the Revolutionary War.
yeah, and change the course of history because you give it to Britain.
Dude, they're like, we're gonna win, we're gonna go out and fight, and then they turn around, this freaking tank coming right at them.
It would definitely need to be a heavy tank too, because they had what, horses back then. They didn't have fast mobility, so you don't need a fast tank.
What
You
if
get this big fucking behemoth of a tank that shoots like shells the size of like my
Watermelon,
head.
yeah.
Like
What if you bring like a nuke back to like whenever
Nuke the Mongolian
whenever
Empire.
Jesus was around, and you like nuke like Rome. They'd be like, maybe we should listen to this guy.
Dude, apparently the king of Rome at the time had a dream that Jesus was the Son of God, and then he was like, guys, we shouldn't kill this guy. We shouldn't kill him.
God.
And then they killed him. He's like, God, crap.
and then
We're all
Jesus was
gonna
like,
die.
I lived, bitch.
I'm back.
Ah,
I have a
right.
set of skills that I will show y'all.
It's dead now.
Came back to life.
Bro, it's dead now. You
Well,
can
wait. Wait. So he came back to life, but then what? Then what did he do? I feel like that part.
He went away.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
did he?
just kind of. That's I never hear anything. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, you never hear what
You never
happened
hear
when
what
he came
happened
back.
after. He's like, he rose from the dead. I mean, obviously I think there's
He
something.
rose from the dead.
But
Then
all you Christians out there, leave a comment down below
what
and
if
tell
Jesus
us what.
stayed alive and had children and had a family.
He
and
had
that
a family?
was the blower
You're a descendant of
Oh,
God.
I wasn't supposed to say that. That's supposed to be a secret.
I didn't know you were related to Charles Manson.
What's your what if?
My what if is, what if we were living 2 separate lives, one while dreaming and one while being alive, and you just forget the other one while you're awake, and you forget this one while you're sleeping?
That's a cool
That's kind of
concept.
true.
It is true, but
when
like
he
an
started to-
in-depth life where you do things, you live, you go to school,
You do.
you have a job, but it's continuing through.
How does that explain
Through
lucid
every dream.
dreaming?
Yeah.
How does that explain lucid dreams though? Not the Juice WRLD song. That's actually sampled from "Shape of My Heart" by Sting.
Yeah,
Did you know
it
that?
is.
I didn't.
It's like I think it's a direct sample too.
It is a trick, Sam.
I don't think it has any alterations.
That's cool.
Um,
Well, the thing is about dreams is that the same way we perceive life, we perceive dreams.
Yeah, it's viewed as like the
So-
same thing.
It's like dreams are shorter, but you don't remember real life by dreams, and you don't remember dreams by real life.
you never
But
remember
the thing is, each is informed by the other.
Yeah, but you never remember the start of the dream. That's what. You're always in the middle of the action.
You always drops you in
It's
right
like
in the middle.
Inception
Well,
says.
that's actually false.
Well, I mean, I
You-
guess
we just
yeah.
don't remember the beginning
Yeah,
Why not though?
because we're just getting started.
I've lucid dreamt, I guess, once, and it was really cool. I realized I was dreaming, and I did like the normal thing. I just like started flying, but then I got excited and I woke up.
I had a lucid dream one time, and of course I woke up. But
Yeah,
uh,
that'd be so cool to be able to.
One
I'm
time in
sorry.
a dream, I checked the weather app on my phone, and there was like a black cloud with orange bolts of lightning through it, and it said it was like 2 p.m. or something, and it said at like 3 p.m. it was going to be 238 degrees, like Fahrenheit. And there was like death storm or something.
I think it would be so cool to learn how to lucid dream, like
Yeah.
effectively, and be able to do
The reason
whatever
I'm
you
afraid to is because you're more likely to have sleep paralysis.
want.
Have you ever had sleep paralysis?
No, I'm scared to.
Have you had it?
No, I haven't.
I have once.
Did you have fun?
It was odd. I didn't see anything. All that
You
happened.
Feel, isn't it like you
So-
feel a presence?
It was different for me. I was like laying in my bed and I could see the TV moving, and it was like the TV was on like it always is, and it was commercials, and I was just stuck there, and I was like, I couldn't move, and it sucked, and I was like, come on, move, and then I couldn't move, and then I like woke up, and then I looked over and the TV's still on. Everything was normal. I just couldn't move or anything. It's like I was awake but not. Everything was normal. It's just like I can't move. Happened once, but I have reported seeing figures when I was little, so maybe I was sleep paralysis when I saw them.
Maybe.
Black figures with hats and very tall. I've talked to other people who have seen the exact same figure when they were a kid. Because I asked them, I was like, hey, have you ever seen a ghost? And then they told me, and I was like, no way. And it was the same type of figure. It's kind of creepy. There's a whole website dedicated to the figure. 'Cause a lot of people
We talked about this.
That's a
before.
creepy, because you see them, when you're a kid all the time, and then you look it up, and then other people have seen it too, And I have a set of skills that I will show you here in a second,
bro. Chill the fuck out, damn.
All right.
You will not cuss on
Hey,
this podcast.
shut the hell up.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to the top 10 now, and our top 10 today is it's almost completely unrelated to
It is
the
totally
content.
well. No, we mentioned Star Wars a couple times.
Okay.
Just to spit it out.
Top 10
All right.
hottest Jedi.
Yoda
Since
do be
we're-
looking thick though.
Since Chris is an avid reader, we're gonna do the top 10 books.
Oh yeah.
No, our actual
Little
top 10
Pony.
today is top 10 fantastical worlds.
Fantasy universes.
Yeah, so this is like fictional universes that are informed by wondrous ideas. So it's not like realistic worlds.
Oh, well, it can't be realistic.
Well,
like,
it can be, but it's not like the real world.
yeah, it's
with
not
like one
it's,
thing
it's,
changed.
it's strictly fictional.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, because I put something that's like kind of close to real.
I'll start us off, because I have to leave in 30 minutes. Probably later. So, my 10 is Bikini Bottom. Just because it's pretty funny and it's pretty outrageous the more you think about it. I watched a lot of SpongeBob and I couldn't think of a number 10.
I can't
SpongeBob
believe how
cinematic
outrageous
universe.
Bikini Bottom is.
Okay, you have a sponge living
Wow,
up
this sponge is a riot.
and living in a pineapple under the sea with a best friend that's a squirrel with a astronaut suit on. And then you have a am I loud?
Yes.
I heard
Yes.
I heard you peek
Then
through
you
this
have-
headphone. I haven't even had it on the whole time.
Then you have a starfish that lives under a rock, and then a squid that plays the flute. You have a crab that's obsessed with money with a burger restaurant. Across the street, a plankton.
Have you mentioned the dumb starfish? I wouldn't.
There's so much stuff, and it's so stupid and outrageous.
Wow, I can't
And
get
it's
enough
kinda
of this
funny.
guy. Sponge, look at this sponge. Isn't he
It
right?
is Bob. SpongeBob.
Good talk.
Okay, Chris.
Moving on.
What about your number 10?
I put number 10 as the Skyrim universe in general.
Tamriel.
Because, yeah, Tamriel, I guess. I think of it as Skyrim because that's the most popular one. But I did it because it came after Middle-earth, like the Middle-earth universe.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, Middle-earth kind of set the precedent for medieval fantasy
Yeah.
worlds. Yeah, that's the word. But it kind of set the precedent and everything kind of fell in line after that. And I feel like I've never played through a whole Skyrim game. I remember I tried in like, was it 6th grade?
Yeah, and you
And-
kill a chicken in Riverwood.
Yeah, I get to Riverwood and I kill a chicken and they won't stop killing me, the people, so I couldn't continue the storyline. If you haven't played Riverwood's like the first town.
So you didn't get past the first town?
Nope.
Poser.
That's maybe one of the reasons why it's so low on my list. But
It's not on mine.
it's just pretty basic. Like it's not nothing fantastical, but it still does a. I'm not trying to.
They introduced some cool stuff later on, but
Uh-huh.
I don't much care for the world.
Oh yeah.
It's not like the main reason it's cool is because you play a significant role in the world, but the
Yeah.
world itself isn't
Uh-huh.
that cool.
Yeah. Like dragons. Wow. Haven't
Okay.
seen that before.
Yeah.
10?
My number 10 is the Hellraiser universe with all the Cenobites, which are they're basically demons that thrive on pleasure or through pain. Like pleasure and pain is the same thing for them. It's like you open up a box and all these like I guess their version of hell is this crazy hellscape with tons of like. Imagine if 9 Inch Nails was represented by demons. Right. Yeah. So that's basically like the Hellraiser universe. It's
Head like a.
yeah. It's so yeah. It's just so it's so grimy.
It's like
and-
what you're talking about
and
reminds
gothic.
me of the Black Temple from WoW.
yeah.
Is it
it's
similar to that?
Yeah, except a little more like there. You know Pinhead. You ever seen like the bald
So
white
like
guy?
Pinhead Larry.
No, like Pinhead.
Mm,
Bald white guy
Maybe,
wears
maybe
a-
if I saw him, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up a picture of Pinhead. I'll stick him in the video just to help a little bit. But I'm gonna show them now what Pinhead looks like. And then there's like I think his name might be Chatterer. They're just these real creepy demons, and the hell that they live in is informed by such like crazy hedonistic philosophy. It's crazy. Clive Barker created a super cool horror hell world, and yeah, I really like the Hellraiser hell because the normal world is kind of similar, but the hell itself is very untraditional hell.
Well-
So Blower, move on to your number 9. Whenever.
Quirky.
I'm gonna get some major hate for this one. The Rick and Morty universe. We have our poster
It
over
is
there.
fictional.
I like Rick and Morty. I think it's a good show, and there's a lot of different creatures, and there's some interesting stuff that goes down in it. It's pretty cool, and there's this one planet that has the purge every year.
Bro, spoilers! I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
That
gosh.
is
That's creepy.
That's awesome.
that is terrifying. Went back to the Hellraiser
There's a
universe.
lot of stuff in the Rick and Morty universe. There's video games where you can play a whole life of somebody and live and die in
The
a video
Sims.
game, which is pretty cool. But yeah,
On to me.
Very
Your
good
number
Blower.
My number 9 is similar to my number 10. Is The Witcher. It's a similar time period and it has similar aspects, but I feel like it does a better job.
I do too.
Cause you said you're not big on that
The game.
Yeah, too much. Was it too much role play, not enough game?
Yeah,
That's
but
your thing.
There's a lot of cool like monsters and stuff.
Yeah, I haven't been all the way through it, but it feels like it's more enthralling than I lost my train of thought.
The Tamriel.
Yeah, it seems like it's more enthralling than Tamriel.
I think Tamriel, like Skyrim, is much more accessible. It has better gameplay,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more traditional. But The Witcher's world, way better. It's much more in depth. The characters are way more fleshed out, and like the lore is so good. It's like I don't know. It's just a great fantasy world. But yeah, I definitely can get behind that pick there.
Gonna make a late alteration to mine real fast.
My number 9 is Sanctuary, or I guess the Diablo universe.
Diablo. Huh.
I really like how all of those Judeo, or I guess the Hebrew demons and devils were brought into that universe. And
Sorry, repeat. I was focused on that.
the Diablo universe.
Diablo. Okay.
Yeah, with the 7 prime evils, just the way they
Good
integrated.
job, bro.
The way they integrated all those demons and devils, and they all each have like their own identity and stuff. And you have like Belial and Baal. It's so cool. The world is just so grimy. And I know most people don't much care for Diablo 3, especially compared to Diablo 2, but I did like it.
Yeah, I know. I've
thought
never.
the lore is awesome, man.
I've never played much of Diablo.
I don't know. It's weird to describe. Imagine like an Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah. I have a good idea of
But
since
with
it's
demons.
I love Blizzard, so I have a good idea.
Blizzard
I've
did
been
a great job
I've been
with it, yeah.
exposed to Diablo a lot. I just haven't really looked into it deeply.
Yeah, imagine like the old god stuff in Azeroth,
In Azeroth.
except the old gods are like Judeo-Christian devils.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's great. So how about your number 8?
The GTA universe.
Okay.
This is
I have potential gripes, but
it's pretty sweet set
Vice
of
City, man.
good game.
No.
Well, the more I th-
place.
the more-
Vice City is just Miami, but good
Yeah.
lord, it's awesome.
But GTA's good game. GTA 5 is what top 5 most
I
bought
think
games
it's
of all
the
time.
most purchased game
Yeah,
of all
the
time.
most purchased.
Minecraft.
Oh, Minecraft,
and
yeah,
and
but
Tetris too.
I think it's the highest grossing because it costed more than either of them, so it's garnered the most money. Which
And it's
catches
been out
game.
for 7 years and people still buy it.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
it still
Which-
holds up graphically too.
And and the amount of cool stuff you could do in the universe is Los Santos and all these different places that you can go or that you can play on. Just do some cool stuff. I mean, you could just hang out with your friends and steal planes and
Go to the
fly
strip
around.
club.
Go to the strip club. You could do. It's so interactive and fun. I think you play golf in GTA 5.
Yeah,
You
single
could do
player.
all kinds of stuff. Just such simple stuff that you'd love to do in real life, like steal cars and drive them 90 miles an hour.
I
on the
already drive.
interstate,
I
which
don't know
is-
about you guys, but I already drive 90 miles an hour. That shit's fun as hell.
You could die though.
Okay. It's the thing I like about going fast in a car is that I am totally in control of what I do in that car.
Unless you get hit by someone.
That's why you don't go into the other lane when there's another car coming, question mark.
That's why you don't drive 90 miles an hour and hit a deer that runs out of nowhere. Chris, you're a dangerous kid. I don't
Crucify
enjoy it.
me.
I don't like this universe because you're in it.
Okay. Well, fucking kill yourself then.
Okay, Chris, you're number 8.
So we're on number
universe.
8. Number
Yes.
8, right? Yeah, I just made this alteration. I have the Pokemon universe, and I know that I'm sticking to all video games, but
Which specific part of the Pokemon universe?
That's-
which region do you
that's
like the best?
my favorite region. I played the Sinnoh region the most.
Oh, Sin is awesome.
Sinnoh's region 1, correct? Like it's
Region
the very
4.
region 4. What was region 1?
Kanto.
Kanto's the first one. Okay, never mind.
Kanto, Johto, Hoenn,
Hoenn,
Sinnoh.
and then I've played in Hoenn
Uh,
and Sinnoh the most. The more I think about it, the more I think Hoenn I probably like more. But the entire universe of Pokemon, it's so it's like
It's so awesome.
The politics suck, though.
well, yeah. you play as this little kid that usurps like an entire country's social system with a fucking little fiery. What I don't even.
They all
dragon.
What is Charmeleon based off of a lizard?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get. Yeah, I don't know. That sounds really awkward, but yeah.
Pull that through.
What do you? Bro?
Dude, I hate this wire. Trying to get it through. Just
Prevent
put it in
dead
the
air,
hole.
Buster. Go ahead.
All right, my number 8 is the Silent Hill universe because the game wasn't in my top 10 games, but the atmosphere of the universe that it creates, because Silent Hill is informed by your own mind and like all your skeletons in the closet and all that stuff. So like you see, for Silent Hill's different for everybody, not like the player encounters the same thing, but for all the different characters in the game, they'll have a different experience at Silent Hill, informed by their own demons and it creates like the most horrifying psychologically. It's the most horrifying possible universe to that person, and you see some real bad stuff going down in Silent Hill. The fog and like, if you haven't figured this out yet, I really like horror, and it's a universe based in psychological horror, which is just smart horror, which it isn't just throw something in the wall and see what sticks. It's horror with reason. So I like the Silent Hill universe because it revolves around that. So it's pretty cool.
Quirky.
Yeah. It's
Quirky. You should make your horror movie, your psychological thriller based around the Silent Hill universe.
The Silent Hill movie is not good.
Oh, I didn't even know there already was
There were
one.
like 2.
Then do a remake and make it better.
Okay.
Okay. My number 7, The Dark Tap. No, I'm joking. The Dark Knight universe, because I was gonna say, like, you know, I was thinking about saying Marvel and DC, but you know, I like the Dark Knight trilogy a lot, and I just like the movies a lot, and I like the idea that you know, like Gotham in them, especially in Batman Begins. Gotham in Batman Begins is very, you know,
Awesome.
very awesome. That's probably the best Gotham, you know. Some of the best Gotham, maybe other than the Batman 1989, which is very Batman-y comic book feeling. But I like the one in Batman Begins. It's really dark, and it's pretty awesome. And Batman's awesome in it, and the villains are great as well. I like Scarecrow. I like Joker, and you know, it's a cool universe, and it's very crazy universe. One of the biggest cities in the world was held up by Bane. And it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Gotham's pretty much, you know, all the cityscapes are filmed in Chicago. So imagine a city the size of Chicago being held up by one guy.
Yeah.
I'm not very educated in the whole DC universe. I guess it has to be because Batman versus Superman. So those two universes are connected.
No.
They're not.
No. Dark Knight is not.
Oh,
Dark Knight is by itself. Dark Knight trilogy.
that
Now,
confuses
the
me
new
because it's the same
Batman-
hero.
The
like,
new Batman.
Yeah, but
that's just weird to me. I don't know.
Batman has had probably
7.
Why not just stick with one canon? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Because they don't like they keep ruining the canons.
Yeah,
guess,
Dark
so.
Knight canon was probably the best.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like all that stuff was good.
We moving?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want
Go
to?
ahead, dude. Yeah.
No,
Okay,
let's just sit here in
okay.
silence the rest
Okay,
of
sounds good.
the.
I have a certain set of skills.
Number 7 is the Monster Hunter universe. Have you? I talked to Blower about this before I started recording. Have you ever played a
Never
Monster Hunter
played
game? It started out as like an indie-ish, not traditionally indie, but a Japanese fighter RPG.
Uh-huh.
And with their latest release, Monster Hunter World, it kind of merged more into a AAA title.
Mhm.
Like it got a lot of American attention. I played it, and the combat, any combat game makes me want to freaking punch holes in drywall. Like my name is Kyle. Like it, combat in video games that is intended to be difficult just makes me so mad. And I don't know why. I guess it's because I'm impatient and I don't like doing things multiple times.
Yeah.
But the Monster Hunter world itself, you're this like big beefcake of a guy. Or I think you can make a girl. Yeah, you can make a girl. And in Monster Hunter World specifically, you're in this like never before discovered. It's called the New World, and there's big like lightning puma, like this big lightning puma that'll shock the shit out of you. There's some. It's called the very first monster in the game is called a Jagras. It's this big yellow, like, I don't know how to describe it, but he'll puff up like a puffer fish in his belly. And the mechanics of it, I know I'm talking more about gameplay than the actual universe itself, but
It's
blends.
connected.
Yeah, it blends together. It's just so enthralling to me for some reason.
Yeah, monsters are cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting monsters is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Okay, my number 7 is the DC universe, but I'm gonna kind of split this into two. As far as like superheroes go, the best DC universe in my opinion, is the Bruce Timm animated DC universe, which is like Batman the Animated Series,
Oh, yeah.
Superman the Animated Series,
Especially-
Justice League Unlimited, Batman Beyond.
Dude,
Gotham that's like where Gotham has the most Zeppelins. It's got red skies. It's got huge black towers, gargoyles everywhere.
Animated Batman stuff is
It's
awesome.
amazing. The
Awesome.
Bruce Timm universe is just so gothic, but it still feels modern and not aged. And it's all corrupt, and the villains are just each is so unique. The Bruce Timm universe is incredible. But I think the DC universe I prefer is the Vertigo interconnected universe with like Swamp Thing and John Constantine and the Sandman. And sometimes Batman will show up into that because Batman treads on like the darker side of DC. But Vertigo's like a crazy psychological horror dark universe filled with like crime and murder and all the nasty stuff that's not in the normal DC comics. And the stories are just written so well, and all the writers for some reason like to connect their stories with one another. So they all interconnect in cool ways, and you'll see like John Constantine in all the stories, and you'll see like Swamp Thing and other. I don't know. It's just the way the characters interact, despite having their own stories and intents, is awesome. And having like Gotham in that sometimes is it's just so cool. So you're number 6, Blair.
Okay. This is probably the most similar to our universe as it gets on my list, other than maybe GTA. Because GTA is entirely possible. It's just, you can do absurd things. I have the Indiana Jones universe, and, they have aliens.
Mm.
They have crazy Nazis.
They have the Crystal Skull.
They have crazy Soviets. It's awesome.
And Harrison Ford.
History professors
Temple
are
of
the
Doom.
coolest dudes ever. Yeah, Temple of Doom.
Imagine if Scalise was like Indiana Jones.
I was thinking about that.
He's like,
He'd be like, "Hey, pal."
hey, pal, why don't you give me that arc right there, will you? Or Mr. White.
That'd be crazy.
Thank you for this arc, sizzle. Sizzle, Nazi, sizzle. I love when he said sizzle. It was great.
Yeah.
I loved it. He's an awesome guy. So is Scalise. What if Mr. Ripley was Indiana Jones? And my point of view, I need that arc.
Hey, the way I see
see it.
things.
Does that make sense? I want this arc.
He has.
And I agree with you, Buster. I agree with you. And I agree with you.
Okay, so put everything away and give me the arc.
Take everything off your desks.
And give me
Do
that
this
arc.
5-minute worksheet.
Give me that kingdom. Give me that crystal skull.
I love how he says take everything off your desks, and then 5 minutes later he'll say get your notebooks out.
Yeah.
Okay, give me the crystal skull.
We
That's nothing like Ripley. It was just like,
yeah. We scooching on
If
forward.
you had Mr. McKee, it'd be like, can I? You need to hand me that.
did you have
crystal
Mr.
skull.
McKee? Did you have Mr. McKee?
No. But it's like, you need to give me that arc.
Hey, it's
Or we do-
one tone the whole time.
Please
Hey,
hand me Please hand me that
can
arc.
I have that arc?
Please hand me that arc.
Or you could have maybe, who's another good one?
Joe.
Give me
Step one.
Give me that arc right now.
Give me the arc, Chris.
Get in the
Get-
get the arc
Get in the arc, Chris.
right now.
Right now.
Swing
I don't
is a
care what you.
double-edged
I don't care what you
entendre.
want. Stop talking. I'm gonna leave if you don't. Give me that arc. Give me that
God.
crystal skull. I don't care.
That reminds me of like Dr. Phil. Like,
Yeah.
He's gonna hear this and he's gonna talk to us and be like, I don't care if y'all make fun of me. Keep on doing it. I think it's funny.
I had him for a sub today.
In Riazi.
Yeah.
We were talking about something. He was
Nacho.
like, no, he said, how's that job working out for you? Or how's working out for you? And I was like, oh, he's talking about the project. No, he's talking about my job. I didn't know he knew I had a job. I was like, oh, okay.
I have
I was like,
Trig,
yeah,
I have
a
Trig
job.
with Riazi as the teacher, and I have it with Nacho.
Yeah.
And we were talking. It was like the very end of the mob. We were talking with Joe, or Mr. Harden. I'm sorry, but he actually does get mad. He's very bipolar with that. Sometimes he'll get mad. Sometimes he won't. But Nacho just says the most disgusting things you could think of, and he said something, and Joe was like, "You're disgusting."
Joe's
man.
great.
He's a character.
Yeah, let's give a round of applause for Joe.
Right into the mic.
Mr. Hart.
Peek it. Boom, boom.
He's gonna make that slow mo for us, right, Buster?
Nope.
Yeah. Moving on to number 6. We're number 6, right?
Yep.
Okay, my number 6 is the Life is Strange universe. Have you ever heard of this?
I don't like it.
You don't like it, really?
No. It's too teenager for me.
I love the idea of like a choose your own adventure game, but you never have to play them though, because when it tells its own story, the gameplay has no like real connection to the story. So I view it as more like watching a Netflix show or something. And I'll watch it on YouTube with like my favorite YouTuber. Well, not my favorite, I don't guess, but one of my favorite YouTubers. He does Life is Strange a lot. Like every time an episode comes out, he'll post like a fucking 2-hour video of him playing through it.
Yeah.
And it's more like watching an episode of it with him. And I think it's really interesting. But definitely the first Life is Strange game is a lot better than the second. The first one involves this girl that very early on she finds out in the story, very early on, she finds out that she can rewind time and like fix her mistakes. So like you'll fuck something up in the game, you rewind and do it better and get a better result. By the end of the game, it's a 5-episode thing. By the end of the game, it is like psychedelic, like crazy fucking, like you pretty much almost like tear a hole in like figurative like space time, and shit starts like fucking floating around. It's literally like you're on an LSD trip. And by the end of it, it's like I think a 12-hour series or something.
Yeah.
On YouTube that I watched. And by the end of it, I spent a whole day doing it. By the end of it, I just fucking cried because it got me that good. I know you say you don't like it, but
That's good.
I don't care.
It's well made. I'll totally
it's
get
great.
that.
The second game isn't as good. It finished
Before the Storm.
Well, no, Before the Storm's a DLC for the first game.
Oh.
It's just Life is Strange 2.
Oh, okay.
It's set in the same universe, but it follows a totally different plot. Like the two stories aren't connected at all. And these two kids at the start of the game, their dad gets like shot by a cop, and there's this dude outside that like gets pissed at the kids, and his dad comes out. The dude kills the guy and runs away, and the kids get blamed for it, and they go like on the run from the police. And finds out that the younger brother can like control shit with his mind and pretty much telekinesis, and they use that. And by the end of the story, he like fucking like they're trying to cross the border to Mexico, and he fucking like kills a whole entire platoon of agents and shit. And they go and run like a car dealership and not a dealership, a mechanic shop in Mexico. The second one's definitely not as good as the first one though.
All right. My number 6 is the Alien vs. Predator universe. Of course, Alien is my favorite movie of all time. And I like Predator as well. And the relationship between the aliens and predators is pretty cool. It's like I think in the Alien universe alone by itself, which scratch that, replace Alien vs. Predator with Alien. The Predator thing kind of makes aliens appear to be weak. So I'm just going to say the Alien universe. You got your engineers that are doing stuff. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody that's actually going to watch them. They won't, but I'm not going to, nobody's going to watch it. But
good movie.
Totally, yeah.
Totally, bro.
100%.
There's nothing in between Alien and 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
What?
Nothing.
Okay, so
I
anyway,
don't comprehend.
Alien is like the universe it's in is just such a cold place, full of self-interested people that are always scared and afraid, and you have like a few strong people every now and then. It's so hopeless from the beginning of it all. It's so hopeless, and then with Prometheus and Covenant, you have like the more artificial intelligence centered stories, and that stuff is great, man. The universe with all the xenomorphs and protomorphs and neomorphs, all these crazy aliens that are like designer babies, is just crazy. They're so, especially in the first one, it's just so scary.
They're one of the scariest scenes in a movie that I've seen is the scene where he's crawling around the tunnels trying to find
right
it,
there.
and
Did the camera just die?
It did.
low battery.
Oh,
Damn it!
shit!
Every time
You're gone.
and we're gone.
All right, Robert De Niro's.
Is this one still on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's plugged in.
That one's plugged in too, though.
I'm probably gonna put a picture of dinosaurs where
Oh,
we can.
no.
What, did it just come unplugged or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
So Buster's gone for like the third time.
Damn.
But yeah, dude, when he turns in the flame, shifts to him, and he's right there, and you hear the loud noise, and excuse me,
No, you
I
gotta be-
kind of jumped.
You gotta be powerful. You gotta burp into the mic. Assert your dominance.
I'm not going to. I can make myself.
Sounds
burp,
like
but-
Solid Snake when he. Yeah, Solid Snake. Ah!
Yeah.
Get in the bed.
Get in the bed.
Okay, Chris.
Number
or
5
oh,
now.
wait,
no,
me.
actually, yeah, Blower.
Oh, Blower's still.
Sure.
I might get made fun of for this one, but this one's kind of interesting. The Pixar universe. Hear me out here. Some of the best kids movies of all time seem to intertwine.
Yeah, you got
It's
They
kind
can't
of
even tell
okay.
Buster's
It's just
leaving.
it's interesting. Some of the best kids movies of all time. Toy Story, banger. Not the new, the two original two bangers. Monsters Inc. Banger. Nemo. Banger. Some of the best kids movies all seem to intertwine with each other. Even like in Monsters Inc., where you see like the little Nemo toy, the movie hadn't even came out yet, and they were hinting at it. And it's that kind of little stuff that I like, and I like how they hint at it, and I like that, especially like movies like WALL-E. Man, it's some good movies in that universe, man. WALL-E's probably my favorite kids movie. It's awesome.
It is good.
It's really good. It's there's like no talking for like first 30 minutes, and for a kids movie, you're like you expect a lot of it's not
exposition so the kids know what's going on.
Yeah, no, a normal kid's like, oh, what is going on? I hate this movie. But like me, when I was a kid, I hated that movie. But now that I'm older, like I watch that movie, and I'm like, man, this is such a good movie. Like I can still watch those movies today and enjoy them. Not the newer stuff, but their older stuff. Man, some good stuff, some deep stuff, and I love how it intertwines. What's your thoughts? What do you think? Do you think
Pixar?
you think it's dumb, or you think it's like
Nothing
reasonable?
wrong with it.
I don't really care
I'm
about
making
it.
another change.
You don't care about it?
Don't want that.
I like some of the movies. I like Monsters Inc.
Monsters
I like
Inc. 's good.
Nemo. I like WALL-E. I just don't. As a universe, I couldn't care less about it.
I just think it's cool how they all intertwine. Up's another good. Dude, the first 15 minutes of Up are, man, it's depressing. Like the music and them growing up together, and she dies. Now he's all alone. It's sad. It's just good emotional movies, and there's an universe that intertwines them all.
All right.
Scooching.
I don't know how Cars is intertwined with all that though.
It definitely. Wait,
'Cause
is
gasoline.
Cars Pixar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cars is Pixar.
Oh man.
My number.
Ciao.
My number 5 is the Harry Potter universe, and I was kind of hard pressed to find to think of some of these. I know there's probably another one that would take its place on this list, but I don't know, the Harry Potter universe. As a kid, like as a young kid, I was always not scared, but like turned off by the idea of Harry Potter, and then I actually watched it, and it's cool as shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool
like-
stuff.
I feel like there's definitely something that could replace it on this list.
I think it's a little too quirky for me.
Yeah.
But there is some cool stuff.
Yeah, there's some cool shit.
Like the Dementors and the Death
The
Eaters.
idea of a Dementor is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Voldemort's pretty cool. Especially since like you don't really see Voldemort as as Voldemort to the fourth movie,
Mhm.
the fourth book, which is kind of cool. It's just you're always hearing about him. You never see him, so when he finally comes,
Well,
you're like, oh my gosh.
technically in the first
Yeah.
You
movie,
see him in the back of that.
yeah,
one
the
guy's
back of
head.
But
the
that's
dark arts professor.
That's different than actual Voldemort.
Yeah,
And then he comes and it's
Yeah.
like whoa. And then the last movie is awesome. Prisoner of Azkaban's an awesome movie too.
Yeah, I think
I don't
that's
know
the
what
best
I don't know
one.
what my favorite
It's a
one
good
would be.
movie.
I feel like I really like Chamber of Secrets. That just sticks out in my
Really?
mind. I'm not sure. I haven't watched them in forever. You gonna pee?
I'm still listening.
Okay, so he's scooching to you.
All right, my number 5 is the Star Wars Galaxy. This is excluding anything past Episode 3.
Weirdo.
I just don't care about the other stuff. Yeah. So starting with A New Hope, it's literally like the Middle Earth, but with
With
Space.
lasers and
Space Samurai.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's wholesome. The first 3 are wholesome movies, and the characters feel real. And the bounty hunters and the smugglers. It's such like an expansive, characteristic world, full of unique relationships between different professions and all that. Like, I don't know. There's just so much going on. There's so much to digest from it.
Mhm.
And then the legend stuff is cool too, because once you go all the way back there, you have like some crazy Sith like Darth Nihilus who like consumes planets like a force storm. This stuff's awesome.
I really think you would like The Mandalorian.
I'm sure I would.
It's so good. It only take like a day to watch at this point.
Oh yeah.
But
8
because
hours.
it's totally a little bit less, but yeah, it's totally like standalone. Well, there's obviously references to other things, but it can stand alone as its own like as its own universe almost.
Yeah,
It just take a little bit more exposition.
the
I
Star
guess.
Wars universe is great.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
I was thinking about putting Star Wars at number 5, but I changed it up just before I said my number 5.
It's a great struggle between good and evil.
Yeah.
So you're number 4, Blower.
This one's interesting. This is the last one that I might think is a little bit stupid. South Park. Think about this.
It's used honestly. It's used as such a good
it's
critique.
Funny.
Like
It's
it
hilarious.
critiques modern events.
Yeah, through satire.
Yeah, it's
But in the South Park universe, Earth is just a big reality TV show.
yeah.
Where all the species, it's 17 different planets worth of species were put together on the same planet with multiple different terrains and biomes, and which they, survive together as a reality TV show, where they're actually locked up in a big cube too, because they're not allowed to leave anymore because they lost their privileges. And you have these insignificant people in Colorado, like Randy, making these universal changes like across the universe.
Didn't Primus make their theme
Yeah.
song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you like it's so funny. It's so absurd. Satire's hilarious. It's awesome. 10 out of 10.
Okay, Chris.
Cracking. 4.
Yep.
I guess I had to put this on here because I said Skyrim did worse than it, but Middle Earth, it set the precedent for all medieval fantasy, really. Like
Sure.
Before that, I guess Beowulf, but that
I
that's
thought about that
that's the
too.
beginning of like all fantasy in general.
But
Really,
that was
Yeah.
like, medieval when that was made.
yeah. I guess at
So
that
that was
point,
just a
at that
normal
point it was
universe.
modern. At that point, it was modern fiction. But Middle Earth kind of set the precedent for the rest of them. Like if you think of any fantasy RPG or any like TV show or anything themed in that era, like Game of Thrones, I will bet, I've never watched it, but I'll bet money that it takes influence from.
It totally
Yeah.
does.
Like there's so many. Even my number 1 pick takes a lot of influence from.
And something that's so good about the reason Middle Earth works so well is because its ideas of good and evil are so solid because he made the universe while he was fighting in World War II.
Yeah.
Like, Sauron is literally Hitler. So, like, it's like cooler World War II. Yeah, Middle Earth works super well. And then, it expands far beyond just Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. His son does all the expanded text and stuff. Like the Silmarillion and all that.
I really got into Lord of the Rings when the Hobbit stuff was coming out in theaters. I watched all those.
I didn't like how they split it up into 3 movies, but the Desolation of Smaug
That was a good movie.
awesome.
Yeah.
That scene with Smaug, man.
Well, because before that, I'm not gonna preach if it was good or bad because I don't remember a whole lot from it. But that's what really turned me on to the whole idea of it. I ended up reading all The Hobbit. I didn't get through all the Lord of the Rings books.
They're not good reads.
They're not good reads, really?
No, the movies are actually better.
I prefer movies anyways, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Quirky.
Yep. My number 4 is the Lovecraft universe, where you have gods that...
Fuck, I forgot about that.
It's crazy, man. Like, these gods, like the outer gods, like, sometimes people will be like, wow, the Lovecraft universe is cool because we're just like ants to these gods.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, we're like a point on a graph.
Yeah.
Not like a physical point on a graph, like literally just a theoretical point on a graph. It's so insignificant. We are so insignificant to these outer gods. And the dread created by that cosmic horror, there's like so many of them too. And all of them just couldn't care less about us. Earth in the Lovecraft universe is just so purposeless and useless.
I also like H.P. Lovecraft's cat name.
Yeah.
If we can't say on here, Google it.
I recommend to Google it.
Mm-hmm.
We did not subscribe and purchase our N-word pass this year, so.
God, have you heard about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Next one. Number 3 for me is the Pokemon universe. This one hits close to home. This was my favorite video games when I grew up. I beat Fire Red over 12 times. I love these games. And my favorite region in the universe is definitely Sinnoh. Sinnoh's awesome. It has, this mythological beasts that you have to catch and you have to tame to use to beat a crime. Well, this is like every other game. But it's cooler because you're catching gods. And you can catch God in this region.
Well, it depends on what you count as God. Do you count Ho-Oh as God? Arceus is God? Like Mew is God?
Arceus is God.
Arceus
created Ho-Oh. Arceus created Mew. Mew was actually a pretty, big species.
What do you count?
But he was actually caught for the first time. The first time Mew was sighted or seen was in South America. It was in South America. That is seen in the Pokemon games. You can read it in the
What's
mansion.
number 1 in the Pokedex?
Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur. Yeah, Bulbasaur is the first Pokemon. I love that contrasting theory of like depends on what lens you look at it through will signify different first Pokemon.
I think that's just
no, like if you look at it through the lens of like a game developer, Bulbasaur is the first Pokemon. But if you look at it from lore, Arceus is.
Arceus was the first Pokemon because he created all the other ones.
Yeah, but it depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, it wasn't like the first documented Pokemon.
Now, wait a minute, sucker. He's God. If you guys don't think he's God, I'm going to tell him you don't think he's God.
How about we move on to your number?
Yeah, number 3, I have Star Wars. There's not much to talk about because you already went over it. But I guess I value it more than you do.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because it... I don't know. I mean, we've already kind of talked about it all. I do love The Mandalorian, though.
Bounty hunters are awesome, man.
Bounty hunters are cool,
Dude,
yeah.
you need to watch The Mandalorian, man.
Yeah,
I
think
watched
I've heard
it?
this 20 times.
I'm going to keep telling you until you watch it because it's awesome.
Okay. My number 3 is the BioShock universe.
I was waiting on that.
Both Rapture and Columbia. The atmospheres in each are very different, but still similar. They're like kindred spirits of depravity. The idea that these people are pursuing becoming basically Superman. They're trying to become the Ubermensch, we talked about last week about peak human being.
Yep.
And that's what these guys are in pursuit of. And they end up becoming just like drug addicts that are explosive and dangerous and all this stuff. And then you have like great figures. Like you basically have J.D. Rockefeller.
Wow. 159.
Whoa.
We've been going for a while. I've noticed that. I told my dad, I was like, yeah, I'll probably be around 9:30, and it's
9:40.
9:45 now. Yeah.
But you basically have J.D. Rockefeller ruling an underwater kingdom full of drug addicts that falls because of drug corporation. Like it's like if Big Pharma won. And then like Colombia is like a bunch of racists up in the sky getting killed by people with magical powers. And then there's like crazy like interdimensional stuff later on. But I love BioShock, man. But we gotta keep going. So number 2.
This one's gonna be pretty plain and simple. Buster's gonna laugh at this. But the Minecraft universe. Okay, I'm minus the
Real deep.
He was talking about this when we were writing these out. I told him, I was like, I mean, it's a fictional universe.
The Blower Trade Center exists there.
Not anymore, it doesn't.
The ruins of the Blower Trade Center where we used to trade and currency.
I have a question. What makes Minecraft an enthralling fictional universe? What lore is there behind Minecraft?
Anything.
No. That's fundamentally wrong.
Dude, Creeper.
Oh man.
Dude, what was the one guy who was like the Steve, but he was the bad Steve?
Herobrine. That I guess that does count. Herobrine is a lore figure.
Yeah.
Globalism.
Globalism.
That was our religion in our Minecraft server. That's no longer
We're
real.
scooching on now.
Yeah.
Fuck Minecraft.
Yeah.
My number 2 is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is everyone's gonna be like, oh, this is my number 1. Blah 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 blah. I don't know what you put, but
It's not mine.
it's a lot of people's big like, because it's the only one they really know. What like it's the biggest one they know, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's so advertised.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Like
it's everywhere,
and for good reason. Because
it's good.
Even the aside from the Hulk, even the worst movies are still good.
The Incredible Hulk is a good movie.
Was it?
I'd like
Is
to
it,
argue
though?
that
It's not.
Thor or Iron Man 3 and
Thor: The Dark World.
And
Thor: The
Captain
Dark
Marvel.
World and Captain Marvel suck.
Maybe in your opinion, but as a film, they are still, maybe the story's
Trash.
bad, but as a film, they're put together very well. It's because they have all the money.
Edited well.
Yeah.
But the story's trash in some of those movies. Now you have stuff like Iron Man and Infinity War.
Guardians of the Galaxy is
And
my
Gar-
favorite.
yeah, and Guardians
Guardians
of
is
the Galaxy.
great. I know I sound weird when I said I was like,
Spider-Man was good,
great. I think Guardians is my favorite though. Everything about it's amazing.
Buster?
All right, my number 2 is the Middle Earth. Middle Earth is a damn near perfect, fantastical world. Good and evil are perfect examples of each, like I said. Sauron is literally Hitler, with infinite power. The Ring Wraiths are like the SS. They're literally like Nazi hunting Jews. It's crazy. And the hobbits are just like these nice kids trying to do the right thing, and there's so many cool like wizards and I don't know. If you don't understand why the Middle Earth is so great, like I don't know where you went wrong. Like if you like Star Wars,
it's the benchmark. It's the benchmark for every fiction at this
I feel
point.
like Middle Earth is literally like the basis of it's like a more well put together universe of anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's
well, for one, it has so much. It's had so much time to develop and mature that everything is like set in stone now.
Yep.
I need to watch Lord of the Rings.
Yes, you do. We'll watch all of them. We'll
Okay.
watch all of the expanded versions at some point.
After graduation, we'll chill in
Dude,
here
all
one
the way
day.
to Utah.
With what? We're gonna have
In
like
the back of the Yukon. We'll just put up screens.
Okay, you're number 1.
Okay, my number 1 is Star Wars. The original trilogy, awesome. But will you shut your mouth? Don't talk here.
What you gonna do,
Man, Snoke is such a good character.
Dude, Snoke is top 10 characters just like Rey. No, but the prequels added so much cool ideas
Like the
to
Jedi
be
Temple.
expanded on.
Episode 1 and 3. Episode
Dude.
2 was filler.
Episode 1, 2, and 3.
Episode 2 brought in the clones.
Yes.
And those are cool as
Dude.
Yeah, that's all it did. In how long is
1
it? 2.5
through
hours. It's so slow paced.
1 through 3 may be terrible movies. Other than 3. 3 is good.
3 is the best.
1
out of
is
all of them.
good depending on your perspective. Okay. But
Too
it
bad the
added
camera couldn't see
so
that.
much good possibilities for different like Legends, even though it's no longer canon. And then the bounty hunters, like you said, are so cool. The Mandalorian is so cool. I like Rogue One a lot. I like all of it until you get to Rey and Snoke and Kylo Ren.
Okay, Chris, you're number one.
You know what my number one's gonna be.
I think
My
you know
number-
what my number one's gonna be.
Pac-Man.
Oh, really? We got the same one.
I think so.
My number one is Azeroth. It's the world of Warcraft. It's it takes. We were talking about. Sorry,
That's
we
part
were
of the
talking
South
about Middle Earth, and it takes. He was talking about Lovecraft. We were talking about Middle Earth. It takes Middle Earth and Lovecraft, and it's a mosh pit of.
And even some of like Star Wars.
Yeah, in the newer canon stuff, it goes into like literal space, and you
Yeah.
kill this big fucking
Guy.
yeah, and he stabs a fucking planet. Like he puts a sword in a planet. It's so, and he was talking about love in the Lovecraftian universe. Earth
old
doesn't
gods.
Earth doesn't matter. It takes what are they called in the Lovecraftian universe?
Old gods.
They're called the old gods.
They are called the
It's
old
called the old
gods.
gods in the Azeroth universe too.
And they are super like closely based off. Like see,
Yeah, it's
like
they share names, they share everything. But what World of Warcraft does with the old gods is it brings in very like this is happening right now in the canon of the game. It brings Earth, or Azeroth as it's called, into relevancy to the old gods, and you actually like kill them.
Yeah, you interact. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's
it is
so
good.
It's just a mosh pit of amazing like, and
Yeah.
even in relation to the Middle Earth aspect of things, like the game started as orcs and humans.
Yeah.
In like what
And that stuff is
1994.
good. Yeah, that stuff is good too.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
the
it's
early
all
stuff is good.
and one of the best villains of all time, Arthas,
Oh my.
and Illidan. Like they have crazy good story plots.
I would argue that like.
We should kind of just do this as a joint one. 'Cause
Yeah,
we're-
mine is also
yeah.
Azeroth. My number one is also Azeroth. But the darkest point in Warcraft, I would argue, is not the old gods. I would argue it is Arthas.
It's like not your typical sad story, but it's a sad
so
story.
Brutal.
Yeah.
And like the influence of that goes to like like High Lord Darien Morgran, who killed his
And
father.
with the lore,
Ashbringer.
I'm very educated on the lore of this universe. You can't understand one concept without understanding three other at the same time. It's this big interconnected web of like there's nothing that stands alone. Everything is together.
And recently they've kind of
Yeah,
They
it's
made
fell
some
off.
bad
recently.
decisions.
The gameplay, not necessarily the story. The story I think is still cool.
I'd say Battle for Azeroth had some really bad story points,
They didn't do enough with the story.
but Legion back is all gold.
Even Warlords. If
The
you
Warlords
know
of Draenor story is awesome.
if you know anything about the game itself, Warlords of Draenor is like known to suck, but the story in that is the redeeming
incredible.
quality. Yeah, I could talk for fucking days about this.
What
Yeah.
about the Sword of a Thousand Truths?
The Sword of a Thousand Truths.
Is that actually in the game?
Yeah, it
yeah.
is.
Awesome.
It's not named the Sword of a Thousand Truths, but it has the model that you
of a Thousand.
Yeah.
In the
Make
Best
love,
Buy.
There's an
Make-
achievement called
the
Make
demo.
Love.
see. There's
Not
an
Warcraft.
achievement in the game called Make Love Not Warcraft. Yeah.
I love that.
You have
episode.
to hug a dead person, like hug a dead person's corpse before they release their spirit to like run back to their corpse.
Okay, wait.
So like you kill them and immediately hug them before they get a chance to run back to their corpse.
Think about it. Okay. We live in this
The
universe.
people.
Warcraft is a part of our universe. We play on Warcraft. South
Yeah.
Park is part of Warcraft.
What?
Dude, South Park
Just
is
trying
a
to be
part.
like X-Files.
Yeah, but
Okay,
South Park is a
So,
part of.
everybody, thanks for tuning in to this episode. Thank you, Chris, for coming on. It's been good.
you're not welcome.
You're
I
not
can't-
welcome
I can't
in
see
these
my
parts.
face, but I'm basically doing what he's doing over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. No, we're not ending a
Good
show.
talk.
with-
Good
okay.
talk.
Good talk,
Okay,
guys.
Good talk,
How
good talk
many-
guys.
How much? Oh, it's almost 2:10.
That's
Whoa.
crazy. Man. Is this the longest one you've done?
Yep.
Maybe.
I feel like it's because we were so passionate about the school.
Yeah.
Like we
Hold
talked,
on for a
and
good
nobody's watching now, anyways. So I guess it doesn't matter, but
Yeah.
nobody
All right.
watches anyways. But
Well, thank you guys for all watching. It's been good. We'll catch you next time. Please tune in again.
Please.